Indie Comics, Bo, and Comic Book Man, a lethal combination.
Coming up next is Indie News number 90. It's an all-indie update. We're going to do a potpourri of a whole bunch of stories. We've got stuff from Dark Horse involving Hellboy. We've got stuff from IDW involving Star Trek and the Legion of Superheroes. I know it's DC, but they're crossing over. Also from IDW, we've got a story about Hawken. We've got stories about Michael Turner's last work that he put together, which Aspen is finally going to get around to printing. We've also got a big story on a marriage in Riverdale. And all that and a lot more coming your way right after this.
Keeping the spirit tied up in the basement. Independent Comic Book News, episode 90, The Lost Planet of Gonatropolis.
Hey kids, how you doing? I'm sorry. We'll start.
So you can hit him again.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for... Hey, you, what time is it?
Indie News!
Indie News! Indie News. This is Indie News number 90. It's an all-indie update. It's a potpourri of stories from around the indie universe.
So get your
and it's coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality are all new comics. All of my indie comics, no matter what they are always 15% off every day for everyone. Dynamite Comics, Avatar Comics, Boom Comics,
Blue Water Comics,
Red 5 Comics,
Blue Water,
I'm reading a rack here, IDW Comics. They're all 15% off every day for everyone. Our first story up involves Dark Horse and Hellboy in Hell, which will debut in
2012.
2012.
Mike McNulty is writing it. He's drawing it. The series will debut Hellboy in Hell in 2012. The first 5 issues of the book will ship monthly. Then the issues will ship on an infrequent basis.
What does infrequent mean?
It means that
whenever he feels like it.
That means McNulty will work on the book. He'll work on the book. He'll work on the book. He'll go, okay, I'm done, and then Dark Horse will solicit it. But he says those individual issues will not. I mean, he said he's not going to stretch it out. They will be one shots basically.
Really?
With him in Hell.
He won't leave you hanging.
Yeah, he won't leave you hanging because it'll annoy people.
Continuing with Hellboy, he's going to be making an appearance in, of all places, Dark Horse Presents. Why would he be in Dark Horse Presents? He's got his own line of books.
The winter issues of Dark Horse Presents will include a whole bunch of Hellboy stories. One issue will include a Mike McNulty Hellboy story set in Mexico. Okay. One story will have a BRPD story by BPRD story by McNulty, a John Arcudi Duncan Figueredo, and a Lobster Johnson story written by McNulty.
I got a lobster in my
I got a question, Bo. Is it worse to be in Hell or Mexico?
Sometimes it's interchangeable.
Which one's worse?
There's a massive...
Don't drink the water, Hellboy.
There's a massive 3-part serial coming up in what?
Dark Horse Presents.
Yeah. Issue number 8.
It'll be from Dims's Brian Wood and Supermarket's Kristen Donaldson. It'll start in January, Dark Horse number 8. It'll show the after effects of an environmental disaster that struck the Earth.
Oh.
It's a 3-part serial. And Brian Wood, by the way, after being more or less kicked out by DC...
Get out of here!
Has been lining up work everywhere. Including somewhere you would never expect him to go back to.
Like where?
Marvel.
Oh, really?
It's when the world ran out of bananas.
Going back
the world's last banana.
Meanwhile, leaving Dark Horse, going over to IDW, IDW Publishing. In November, they're going to launch a series called Hawkman.
Hawken.
Looks like Hawkman. Hawken. I assume that's not a mistake either.
It's actually the person's name.
It sort of looks like Hawkman.
It's from Grimjet co-creator Tim Truman and his son Ben. The series will tell the saga of Kit Hawken, who's a man on a vengeance trail against the Tucson... Kit Hawken. He's against the Tucson Ring, which was a real-life group of corrupt businessmen in Arizona in the 1800s. Now, Kit will be helped on his quest by the ghosts of people he's killed. For all you people who are going,
why would they help him?
Well, that's question. That's going to be part of it. But for those,
you put a bullet in my head. Let me help you out with this problem you got.
Well, for those, they're going to wonder why they're helping him, which is going to be part of the series, and he's going to be wondering why they're helping him as well. And you're going to wonder whether he really
screw him.
Whether they really are ghosts or he's just nuts.
I don't know.
Now, if you're,
can it be both?
He could be both. He could be both.
What you're looking for is in that canyon with the 1,200 GIs who are going to kill you.
Actually, we'll be there to help. Don't worry.
We'll be there to help. We're right behind you. Go.
Guys being helped by ghosts isn't new. Billy Bob Holland is the character by James Burke's series of novels. So this isn't exactly a new concept. They sort of borrowed it.
Okay.
Ghosts helping people.
We mentioned DC a few minutes ago and how Mr. Brian Woods got kicked out of there. DC and IDW are going to be doing a team-up together, a crossover, an intercompany crossover. First intercompany crossover DC's done since JLA Avengers, I believe. And it's going to involve the Legion of Superheroes. And what other property does IDW have that's set in the far, far future? Ah!
Star Trek, Legion of Superheroes, 6 issues from the team of Chris Robertson and Jeffrey and Philip Moy. And you're going, Jeffrey and Philip Moy? Yeah, they drew Legion, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, so this is exactly the first time at the rodeo. These series, most of the heavy lifting, in fact, all the heavy lifting on this series is going to be done on the IDW side. DC's just publishing the damn thing. The title will feature 6 heroes from each team who find themselves in a world that has merged aspects of both centuries, and apparently there's this really cool scene where Brainiac 5 and Spock try to figure out what the hell's going on.
For those of you who may be unfamiliar with Legion or Star Trek takes place, the original series takes place in the 23rd century? 23rd, 24th century.
And Legion takes place in the
30th century.
Yeah, 30th.
So there's a 600-year difference between the two timelines to begin with.
There'll be this blending.
And of course, one is going to wear the orange and the red and the blue shirts, and then the other is going to be dressed up like a bunch of 1960s superheroes.
Yeah.
And all the spandex, so it's going to be quite a trip having the two of them thrown together. Meanwhile, over at Aspen Comics, Dead Man's Run is coming from
Greg Pak, who's got a Marvel exclusive, but they said you could work on that book over at Aspen.
That's how Marvel does.
We don't consider Aspen this major league threat. Tony Parker is set in a futuristic underground prison where a team of the damned.
Somebody really needs to talk to Marvel about what an exclusive is.
Well, no. Actually, it makes
You
sense.
can work anywhere that we don't care about.
As long as you work here exclusively.
But that makes it exclusive.
Here's your exclusive contract. These are how many pages you have to give us a month. You can work on a limited series somewhere else because we figure that people who pick up books from other companies may go, well, what other work does he do?
Why don't they just sign a contract that says, I'm working for Marvel for X number of pages per month? What makes it exclusive?
Right, spin it any way you
There's
want.
nothing exclusive about that.
Call it something else.
The exclusive is you get the insurance.
Okay. Well, that's nothing to sneeze at.
You get the
Can I get an exclusive from Marvel?
You get free health insurance. You get the health insurance. That's what
I'll guarantee you I sell you a certain number of copies every month.
But basically, it's an underground prison, which is actually hell, and people are gonna have to go down there and save a girl who's down there by accident.
The book, yes, we're talking about the book.
And the exclusive.
Yes. Okay, so they're in hell.
They're in hell.
Exclusively.
Good. Well, hell's
exclusively in hell.
A lot of people go to hell. I hear it's a great place to go on weekends. Anyway, last story we've got is also.
No, we have one after that.
Oh, that's right. The second from the last story. Second from the last story we've got involves Aspen's new title, Homecoming.
It's the last thing that Michael Turner designed before he passed, and the idea will be brought to life by executive assistant Irish creatives David Wall and Brad Foxhoven and Fathom writer Scott Lobdell. Now, they haven't said what the series is about, except that they've sort of hinted that it takes place in high school.
High school?
But it's
high school!
It's apparently this is what Turner was working on, I guess, 2 or 3 months before he passed of cancer.
High school, it's called Homecoming. I assume it's something to do with
the
swim
team. Could be the swim team.
The last story we've got involves the biggest story that's been on the internet for the last 24 hours from the time we started doing this, and that was Archie. It's an Indy title. Archie's announcement that there's going to be a marriage in the Archie universe. Who do you think is going to get married? Do you think Midge is going to marry? Who the hell is Midge going out with? Was that Moose? I think it was Moose. Okay. And Jughead. Well, Jughead just gonna marry his hamburger. That's all he gives a damn about. They've already done the Archie and Veronica and Archie and Betty thing, but those are sort of fake dream parallel Earth things. It doesn't take place in the actual Archie universe. This marriage is going to take place in the actual Archie universe, and it is between.
Well, Archie already announced that they're going to be doing an ongoing Kevin Keller series, who happens to be the gay gentleman who has moved to Riverdale.
Yes.
And he will be getting married.
Yes.
Kevin's going to be getting married.
What's her name?
What's his name?
Exactly! Which is why it's news! Oh, heads have got to be exploding on Fox tonight. This story just broke in the last 24 hours.
Riverdale only has civil unions.
I read a story somewhere that Archie made a point of sending the press release to Fox to make sure that they had it.
Well, see, actually, this is really smart.
Hey, guys, I think you might be interested in this.
No, this is smart.
Bye.
This is smart planning on Archie's part. I mean, this is the week that Ultimate Spider-Man #1 came out, so you've got the people over at Fox who are already annoyed about the fact that the new Spider-Man is half black and half Hispanic.
And possibly gay.
And now you're saying that a gay character is going to get married. So yes, the people over at Fox are thrilled.
The only person who thinks that the Ultimate Spidey is gay no longer works at Fox, and he's on a radio show that nobody listens to.
Yeah, nobody's watching.
Nobody's listening to. Nobody's watching it stream. Nobody's watching anything. But yeah, they released the story, and my big problem with this is not that Kevin Kelly's getting married. My big problem with this is the Archie universe has been around since the early 1940s, and it has been static as a rock since the 1940s.
Not anymore.
Up until the last 4 or 5 years, when the daughter of one of the publishers was put on board as one of the creative people, and she's the one who's been shaking things up at Archie and trying to make it more in line with what the real world is like. And she's done a good job. She's done a real good job. A lot of people care about Archie more than they've ever cared about Archie before in the past. But you've got a character who they just introduced less than a year ago who's getting married now in the Archie universe. Yep. What about all the rest of the characters? I mean, you've got to drag this guy in, marry him off, and that's your big news story. What about the rest of the characters? I mean, I understand the whole thing behind he's gay and it's a big deal, and Fox is going to go ballistic over it. But, you know, you've got a whole universe where the characters you do nothing with.
Who else can get married?
Moose, Jughead.
What about Reggie's
the smart kid with the glasses.
Yeah, what about Reggie's alcohol?
Well, what about Reggie?
Yeah.
What about Reggie?
Reggie's a jerk. Nobody cares.
So he marries a girl and beats her up. I don't know. There's your story.
Kevin's not a jerk.
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with Kevin Keller. I'm just saying he just showed up, and now he's getting married. And it's a big deal. And look at all this. And what about everyone else?
Archie can't get married because then you actually have to make the decision, Betty and Veronica. So
well, they've done everything they're ever going to do with that.
Right. I mean, so
with,
it's like
with the parallel Earth.
So what else?
Magic mirrors.
What else should they possibly do different instead of doing something different with a character that was just introduced? It doesn't have to be involved in all the old continuity.
Would they ever put Archie in the military?
Well, he's too old now. Archie's what, in his 30s?
I don't know. 50s? I don't know how to break this to you, Jeff. But Archie was in Vietnam. He's dead. He got killed in Vietnam.
Ice Cream Soldier killed.
Yes, Ice Cream Soldier killed.
Charlie!
Ice Cream Soldier fragged him. He took his grenade, rolled it in there.
He was killed by Willem Dafoe.
We're all going to the wall.
That's Oliver Stone's Archie.
We're going.
Golly, Roddy!
Jughead came back without his legs.
That's it. We're done.
Oh, we're done.
Now that would be a story. Jughead comes back and he's a paraplegic. Oh man, that would be a story.
Maybe Kevin's marrying Jughead.
No, they're not going to do it. I can guarantee you they're not doing that. They might actually have him marry some obscure character.
Mr. Weatherby?
As you may have picked up, we're at the point in the story where they haven't really said who he's marrying. That just he's getting married, so we don't know who he's marrying. But he could marry an obscure existing character in the Archie universe.
Does Archie have a brother?
I don't think it's going to be anybody who's established, like Reggie or Jughead.
It's Reggie.
Like that.
It's Reggie.
But the Sylvester Pembleton, the smart kid, I mean, it could be him. Might be Moose.
It's Reggie.
I mean, it could be some second string, third string character that,
It Pops.
It Pops.
Betty's really a man.
It Pops, yeah. Hey, crossdresser.
Betty goes up to have surgery.
Well, there you go. There you go. Chaz Bono. Anyway, that's it. We're done. We're finished. We've got nothing else.
We're finished.
Go to the store's website, though. Check out all of his indie news. And where's the store's website at?
Sarah knows all this stuff. And she reads Archie comics, don't she?
Constantly.
www.myalternatereality.com. Relentless.
So stop off the store's website. Check out all his news. Until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
This is Bo.
Saying, wedding bells in Riverdale. It's wonderful. Bye!
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.